If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.
Warning. On this podcast, we take the cases seriously, but not ourselves.
Although, we may attempt to lighten the mood at times.
Our episodes contain graphic descriptions that some listeners may find disturbing. Listener discretion is advised.
So I'm going to start this one.
Okay, you usually do.
Basically, I just want to say to you, don't you ever complain about me spending money and what I'm spending money on. And
I'm gonna.
You're going to get that after you've heard this.
Okay.
So I was talking to a Patreon member and she was telling me, but she was telling me that her son and her youngest daughter watch this YouTube channel. I don't know what the YouTube channel's called. I just know they're Australian. And they do these videos where they're basically doing experiments and blowing shit up. And then they sell stuff on the website. And they asked their mum to buy them stuff off this website. One of them is a dog toy for $25. What's popped? She's bought that one.
Okay.
Another one is a t-shirt. What's ripped? It's a ripped up fucking. It looks like someone's pebble dashed up it. That were about $35. She's bought that. Another one is, I think she got two of them. T-Rex, little toy T-Rex, spray painted. I don't know how much she paid for that one.
Well, is there more, or can I stop you there? Because I already have an issue with you. With you, not them.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to take a guess. You know, they're fans of these people who do the experiments.
Yeah.
So they're looking at these items as memorabilia from the experiments and what they do.
It's a pop dog toy.
What's a
just
little
sat on the shelf now in the house
compared to all your shit just sat there? Which it either goes in the bin or it sits there for months and months and months until I lose the plot and go, are you fucking like keeping this or you get what's going on?
I've never bought a pop dog toy in my life.
I never said you did. Like, what's going on? The point is, you buy useless shit all the time.
Not
Whereas
that useless.
They're looking at... No, because you're taking it so literal that it has to have a function. But you buy 25 key rings that you're not going to use all of them.
We've had this before.
No, because you're the one bringing it up, and you're annoying me that you're judging someone else, and it's annoying me that you're judging someone else, particularly if you look at what they're buying as memorabilia from something, whereas you're buying a key ring that you can't possibly use all of them, and half them go in the bin. There's one sat on the table right now. You were using it, and now you've just decided against it.
So the key rings I buy are about £2.
It doesn't matter how much they actually cost. It's the fact of just buying stuff for the sake of it. You're filling our house with shite. You know, when I walk through the sitting room, you can just hear all the rummaging and fucking of my feet dragging through.
This didn't go the way I thought it was going to.
You should have known I was going to take issue. It's the fact that you take it so literally that like they have no use for it. You don't have a use for a lot of things. You still have them.
Yeah.
Well, where are we at here, Neil?
All I know is when me and her were talking about it, she was laughing her head off. I was speechless. I think she said she had to pay like $60 shipping as well. Which,
Oh, well, that's a bit much. But if it's coming from Australia to the States, you know.
Well, I know what I'd spend my money on instead of popped dog toys and spray painted T-Rexes. But
Trinkets.
yeah.
You love a good trinket, don't you?
So, we've got 2 shout-outs today.
We do indeed.
So, first off, we have Tammy.
Tam Tam. Tim Tam.
Is that what you got?
Tamoy. Tannoy.
Right.
Tannoy, like, you know the things, the fucking yolks? The tannoys?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tannoy.
But that's tan, not tam.
I know, but I'm just struggling here for a few. I know you've got one. Like, you're taking the reins with this one.
I've got one. Tampon.
Tampon. Wow.
How did you not think of tampon?
I was literally just playing about with the name. I knew you had one. I should have done my research and found out what your one was.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tampax.
Oh.
We appreciate you.
So, the next one, Shelby. Now, all I could think of was Thomas Shelby from Peaky Blinders.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I could think of. So, I thought, what can I do with the name Shelby?
Shelby.
What?
Shall be my baby. Be my little baby.
What do you mean?
Well, actually, this is a guess the lyric. You should know that one.
No. No, right. So, this is what I come up with. Are you ready? Stick with me.
Mm-hmm. Usually have to.
There's the Shelby Mustang.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a Ford Mustang, but it was made by Shelby. Yeah. So Shelby Mustang, Oss,
Right.
Osses,
I'm with you.
Oss Racing,
Yes.
Shergar.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got Shergar and Tampon.
Do you know what's so fucking insulting about this? Tammy and Shelby happen to be on the highest tier of VIM
Yeah.
of Patreon.
Yeah.
And you've called one of them a horse and the other one a tampon. I said, be my baby. You know? I was.
Isn't
being
Shergar the
sweet.
dead horse? What everyone's trying to find?
There was a big scandal about it, wasn't there?
I don't know if that was Shergar.
I think it was, wasn't it? I don't know much about horses.
So, yeah. Thank you, Shergar and Tampon. Are we going with Tampon or Tampax? Tampon. Because that's universal.
Okay.
They might not have Tampax over there.
Of course, in America.
Yeah.
Of course they do. I think it's an American brand, is it not?
Oh, I don't know.
I think it is.
You're
But
baby.
I appreciate you trying to be inclusive of all different cultures. So
Well,
admirable.
should we just change it up and it's Shergar and sanitary pad?
I think Tampax.
Okay. So, yeah, thank you, Shergar and Tampax.
We appreciate you.
So, what you got for us today?
Today we are going to be talking about the disappearance of Evelyn Hartley.
Okay. Yeah, I know that one.
You do indeed.
I don't know anything about it, but I know of it.
Well, you're going to learn today. Evelyn Grace Hartley was born on the 21st of November 1937. Known to those close to her as Evie, a quiet, dependable girl, wholesome and intelligent, which was evident in her academic pursuit. She was a straight A honours student, with one of her favourite subjects being science. You got an issue with science?
It's just anyone who's a fucking A at it. Like, does she master it? What is... She was an A student.
She was a straight A student, honours student. So, like, she was actually acknowledged for how well she was doing in her grades.
Yeah. But what was it about science?
It was her favourite subject. Why is science an issue for you?
Well, you can't just say your favourite subject is science.
Well, you can.
No, you can't.
Well, you can, because in school you learn the different subsets.
Yeah.
So
biology, chemistry, and chemistry. What's wrong?
You said chemistry twice.
I did not.
You did.
Chemistry,
Mm-hmm.
biology,
Mm-hmm.
and...
Go on.
Oh my
You
God.
literally start to make the sound. You went,
Psychology? No. Oh my God.
physics.
Physics? Fuck's sake.
I get what you're saying. They're 3 different topics, but can they not be her 3 favourite topics?
No, it's completely different.
Evelyn was involved in several after-school activities, and she attended the First Presbyterian Church, where she was an active member who played piano, sang in the choir, and also served as a nursery assistant. So Evelyn appeared to have been one of those kids that would have put us to shame. While we were out drinking in a field somewhere, she was there writing up a fucking dissertation for the crack.
Not in the 50s, I weren't.
Evelyn was the 3rd out of 4 children born to parents Ethel and Richard Hartley. By the way, I had to read multiple articles before finding out her mother's name. But remember, it was the 50s. Women hadn't earned the right to their own names yet.
Yeah.
She had 2 older brothers, Richard and Thomas, and a younger sister named Carolyn. Sadly, Richard passed away after contracting polio a few years previous to her disappearance. By 1953, the family had lived in La Crosse for 4 years, having moved from Illinois. And on the 24th of October 1953, Evelyn was babysitting for the Rasmussen's family's 20-month-old baby, Janice.
Janice?
Janice.
How could you call it like, I've got nothing against the name Janice.
I think you do.
No, but a baby? Baby
Yeah.
Janice?
Yeah, it's like Roger or
Call
something,
her
isn't
Janny
it?
for fuck's sake.
The baby's father, Vigo, was a biology professor at La Crosse State College, and that night, he and his wife were attending the homecoming football game against River Falls. Vigo picks up Evelyn at about 6:30 p.m. and drops her off at their home before setting off for the game with his wife, Madeline, their eldest daughter, Rosalind, and their neighbour's child. Although the family had a regular babysitter, she was also attending the game that night, and so they enlisted the help of Evelyn, whose father was a co-worker of Vigo. The neighbourhood was quiet, and as Evelyn was expecting a relatively easy, relaxed night, she brought her schoolwork with her and planned to spend the evening studying as the baby slept.
See, if you're going to babysit, you eat the food, you drink the beer, and you watch the telly.
Call your fella over.
Have your lad over,
Mm.
yeah.
Well, no, Evelyn was this like lovely, wholesome girl.
Yeah.
She put the rest of us to shame, so. That evening, Evelyn was to call her parents to check in. But when their agreed upon time of 8:30 p.m. comes and goes, and they've received no word from Evelyn, they call the home themselves. When their calls go unanswered, they grow concerned, and her father decides to drive to the Rasmussen home and check on Evelyn. When he arrives at their home, the door is locked, but the lights are on, and the radio is playing. He manages to enter the home through a window in the basement, which had been left open. After climbing into the house, he finds one of Evelyn's shoes laid by the foot of the basement stairs. He makes his way upstairs and can see that the furniture in the living room had been rearranged and various items were scattered around, including Evelyn's school books. On the floor of the living room is Evelyn's other shoe, along with her glasses, which had been broken. In her crib, the Rasmussen's infant lay asleep and unharmed. Evelyn's father calls a neighbour for help and phones the police. Not long after this, about 20 members of law enforcement descend onto the scene, including the sheriff and the district attorney.
See, I wouldn't think they'd have that many officers. Because they're like small towns, aren't they?
Yeah, I think it was a case of the first officer or officers arrived on the scene, and once they saw it, they were like, this is serious. And it wasn't long before pretty much everyone got involved. While investigating the scene, they discover that although every window excluding the basement was locked, there was pry marks on other windows. The screen had been removed from the basement window and placed against the wall outside. A stepladder which belonged to the family and had been used to paint the basement was found underneath the window. As well as the obvious signs of a struggle, blood and footprints were found in the house. Another bloodstain was found in the yard, about 10 feet from the window of the basement. Bloody handprints were found on the garage, about 4 feet from the ground. There was also blood found in a nearby house, about 100 metres away. With numerous locations showing significant blood loss, police believe that her abductor had carried or dragged her and placed her down multiple times in the process. With the trail of blood left behind, this gave police a rough idea of the direction that Evelyn had been taken. They bring in police dogs, but the scent abruptly stops 2 blocks away at the end of Cooley Drive, most likely as a result of her being forced into a vehicle.
So, this is where I'm at already.
Mm-hmm.
There's a good chance this is either someone who knew her or knew or was in the family who she was babysitting for, because someone knew she was babysitting that house.
Yeah, I definitely get where you're coming from, but, you know, a lot of people were questioned, including her father, Vigo, the father of the baby Janice. All were cleared. But you do definitely kind of go, hang on, especially as it was quiet that night.
Yeah, unless it were Peeping Tom.
That is definitely where I'm leaning in this case. Although the neighbourhood was quieter than usual this night, as many were attending the homecoming game, police did manage to garner some information and eyewitness accounts, allowing them to gain some insight into the events of the night. One neighbour had reported that they had noticed a car circling the neighbourhood at about 8 p.m. Another told police that about an hour previous to this, they had heard screams but put it down to children playing. We've said that ourselves.
Yeah, me and you have,
we've heard screams and shouts, and it's like, it's teenagers messing.
Yeah, you've said the messing, and I'm like, sounds like someone screaming for help. And you're like, they're fucking about.
One man reported that he had nearly collided with a dark green two-tone 1942 Buick as they sped past him. He stated that there was a man driving the vehicle and another man in the back with a girl who appeared to have been slumped over. He also said that he believed he had seen the same 2 men and girl not long before. This was as he was leaving his brother-in-law's house near the Rasmussen residence.
Oh, so it's 2.
It's believed there was 2 abductors, yes.
Right.
He said that the men were either side of the girl holding her up, and he initially thought she was intoxicated and they were helping her home or what have you. And again, it was the 50s. People kind of didn't get overly involved if they saw 2 men carrying a woman.
Yeah, who cares? I'm joking with that.
I've said it now, they've got the audio clip. With this, police are starting to piece together the events of the night. On Monday the 26th, 2 days after the disappearance, Evelyn's mother went to the scene of her abduction. Ethel had previously held out hope for her daughter's safe return, but upon seeing the bloodstains on both the Rasmussen's property as well as the neighbouring houses, her faith came crashing down around her.
Well, it would, wouldn't it?
Well, I think it's just the fact that she was kind of like, no, I know my daughter's going to be okay, we're going to find her, we're going to bring her home.
Yeah.
And then the realization, because a lot of people, you know, if you heard abduction or, you know, whatever, you're immediately like, oh no.
Right, this is a bit off topic. Well, it's kind of still on topic. Where do you stand with police who say, we're going to bring your daughter back? And the ones who go,
absolutely not.
We'll do what we can.
Absolutely. I don't respond well to that. I'm like, you're lying to me. You don't know that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm very kind of more factual based. Give me the fucking full information, what we have. Does it look good? Does it not look good? And I can process that.
Yeah, but imagine,
if you're giving me false hope.
Yeah, but imagine you're a copper and you go to the house where the daughter's gone missing and you just keep saying, we'll do what we can. And the mother is like, promise me you're bringing my daughter back.
I cannot promise that.
That's what you'd say?
Yes. I don't think it does people any good to fill them with false hope. It may be hard to hear at the time, but when push comes to shove and things are either getting harder or we find out the grim reality, it's not as jarring for that person.
Okay.
I know, because we're very different. You're kind of more like hopeful dreamer person and I'm very much grounded. Pessimism and disdain.
If I was in that scenario, I'd be like, I swear on my mum's life, I will bring your daughter back.
I know. And then what are you going to do when something horrible happens?
I swear on my relationship.
You would swear on poor little Normie's life. You bastard. A search was conducted across land, water and air and was comprised of over 1,000 people, This included police, National Guard, the Civil Air Patrol, the US Air Force, the Boy Scouts, members of her church, and the students and teachers of La Crosse State College.
I don't agree with that.
The Boy Scouts thing?
Yeah.
That was quite common back in the day. You'd have kids
Really?
kids getting involved in searches. Yeah.
Like,
Then they kind of realise it's kind of traumatising, so that's not. Yeah.
It's fucking abysmal.
Students at the Central High School voted, quote, overwhelmingly to cancel their school's fall festival. And this was in order to, quote, put their effort and money towards helping solve the disappearance.
Oh, that's good.
It is because, I mean, from what I hear about America, you know,
the students would have been pissed.
Well, they're really into like their proms and stuff. And this means there would have been, you know, the no kind of homecoming queen or whatever it is.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have had that, which, I mean, maybe this is absolute bollocksology and I'm just getting it from TV and film. But Americans seem to love that shit.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, I think it's amped up a bit for movers.
See, you say that, but like, look at them with like football. That's a serious thing to them.
Yeah.
They care about that shit. Whereas over here, if you're in school and you're playing like whatever sport, it's like, yeah, but then you leave school and the majority of them don't carry it on.
Yeah.
Not really a big deal to us. Without any notion of who was behind the abduction or where they were, a 10 p.m. curfew was set. The mayor said of the restriction, quote, the Hartley case should serve to remind us that persons of maniacal tendencies often wander at night, even in the early...
What does that mean?
They're a maniac.
Just
someone who's like too far gone.
Yeah.
They're like just wandering the streets kind of thing. It's kind of a scary way to word it, but...
Right.
Even in the early hours, and they may turn up any place, it again emphasised the need for La Crosse's 10 p.m. curfew ordinance. In addition to this precaution and the search parties, radio bulletins were broadcast. Hunters were cautioned to remain vigilant to any possible clues they may come across, and farmers were asked to conduct searches of their land and report any recently disturbed soil. Checkpoints were also erected and cars were searched. 40,000 stickers were printed which read, "My car is okay." This was to ensure efficiency and vehicles were not subject to repeated searches.
Oh, do you know what I'd be doing if I were back then?
Nicking the stickers, selling them on.
Printing them off and selling them. You'd make a fortune.
Attendants at fuel stations were asked to keep an eye out in case they saw bloodstains or anything else that might lead them to suspicion, and to report the licence plate to police.
I'm sorry, you do not need to be told if you see bloodstains, report it. You should know that.
But do you think every worker there necessarily would?
They fucking should.
Yeah, but do you think they would?
I have faith in them.
They were... Well, how do you feel about this? They were also asked to report the licence plates of those who refused inspection. Fair
well,
or
yeah, I
bit?
suppose back then they wouldn't have been saying, you know, that goes against my human rights.
It's not about that.
Oh.
And it's not your human rights.
Well, it is.
How is it? It's your car.
It's your car. It's your belongings. Don't belong to anyone else.
There's a 15-year-old girl missing.
Oh, no. I know that. Can I retract what I previously said?
Work away.
Bastards. They fucking string them up. Force the search.
No, I'm just saying, because obviously that gets a little bit more controversial if you're reporting something to the police because they're refusing. You know, some people get very sensitive about shit like that. Like you said, oh, you're violating my rights.
Right. I see it a lot online with these videos, people getting pulled over by cops. If the cops pulled me over, the only reason why I'm not letting them search my car is because I don't want them to search my car.
So what if you said to the police, right? Not you.
There is no 15-year-old girl here.
Yeah, but there is a pound of heroin.
Don't mind the cannabis.
Mm-hmm.
But right, that's what you do. When they pull you over and they go, right, we want to search your car. You go, right, before you search my car,
mm-hmm.
you can only do me if there's a 15-year-old girl in that car.
Or evidence of...
Don't mind the RPG
mm-hmm.
and the grenades. And yeah.
The heroin, don't forget.
The weapons and no licenses, don't mind them. There's an illegal suppressor on that one.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no 15-year-old girl.
Yeah.
That's the only way. That's the only way you're searching this car, is if you tell me that you'll only be looking for the 15-year-old girl. Don't look at anything else.
That's none of your business.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Fearing the worst, recent graves were also reopened to confirm that Evelyn's body had not been buried.
Sorry, just to go back to it. Just to go back. Right. Say if we're driving down the road. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, as we do.
And the petrol station's just been robbed. So they're pulling people over and they're doing random searches to see if there's anything from that petrol station in your car.
Yeah, kind of monster.
Search my car. Go ahead. But if someone pulls me for speeding, and then while they've got me pulled over, they go, would like to search your car. Get fucked. You've pulled me for speeding.
Okay, but yeah, these
So
were...
what I'm saying is, this is a 15-year-old girl missing in that area. Search away.
So, yeah, but what I'm saying, like, there was checkpoints set up.
Yeah.
So, you know, you could be on your way to work and get stopped. Or if you're going to the petrol station.
Yeah.
And they have the attendants just give a once over.
Yeah.
You know it's part of it when you go to fuel up.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is you are okay with it?
Yes.
And you're wary of people who do refuse, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Police departments in both Wisconsin and Minnesota were asked to check through their databases of known sex offenders and, quote, other suspicious characters and bring them all in for questioning. Although not officially involved in the investigation, the FBI stated that they were, quote, following the situation, but would not intervene until 7 days since the date of the crime had lapsed. This was under the Lindbergh Law, which permits the FBI to initiate their investigation after a period of 7 days if it is believed that the abductor may have crossed state lines. In the days following her disappearance, various items of bloody clothing were found in different locations around the greater area. A man's shirt and trousers stained with blood was found between Catholic and Jewish cemeteries.
Jewish and what?
Catholic.
Oh, Catholics.
And about 2 miles south of La Crosse, blood-stained underwear was found near the underpass of Highway 14.
What type of underwear?
Brad knickers.
Okay.
And
no, it's in case it was Y-fronts.
No. It was women's underwear, and the underwear was actually the same size that Evelyn wore. The blood on both of these undergarments, as well as the blood found in the house and neighbourhood, was matched to Evelyn's blood type. In another location southeast of La Crosse, a pair of blood-stained size 11 Goodrich sneakers were found. The shoes were called Hood Mogul and have been sold in Wisconsin, Iowa, Michigan, Minnesota, and Illinois. The design of the tread was similar to the prints found in the Rasmussen house, and it was noted that the soles also had quite distinct wear marks. A circular pattern consistent with someone who frequently rode a Whizzer motorbike. For months, investigators sifted through the sales records of Whizzer motorbikes, but no worthy suspect ever materialised. Not far from where the shoes were found, about 800 feet, a denim jacket was recovered. There was blood stains around the collar and on both sleeves, and again matched to Evelyn's blood type. Now, the blood which had been found at the scene had been smeared, and the swipe marks in the blood were consistent with the denim-like material.
So he tried to clean up using his sleeve?
Well, from how it sounds, it's more like they scuffed against it.
Oh, okay.
It was also noted that the bottom of this jacket had been rehemmed, about 2 inches below the pockets, and the jacket had been rehemmed by machine using white thread. There was also a 3-inch vertical tear by the buttonholes, also machine stitched using brown thread. There was impressions in the fabric as if someone had worn a belt or harness, possibly the type of safety harness worn by a steeplejack. Those who work in the industry were checked out, and unfortunately no names came to the forefront. But still, these details were quite distinct. And so these items of clothing were displayed to the public in various locations in hopes someone might be able to identify the owner. But again, nothing came of this. Police believe the jacket and shoes belonged to 2 different people based on the sizing of the items.
I don't agree with that.
I was just about to say, I don't fucking get that.
There's someone I went to school with, he had size 11 feet and he was about 4.8 foot tall.
Yeah. I don't think shoe size is necessarily indicative of a person's overall stature. I always think of shoe sizing as being sort of separate. It's a different thing.
It's a more common thing. If someone's tall and big, they'll have big feet.
Yeah.
But it's not 100%.
Yeah, it's not be all and end all. I've known plenty of more petite people with big fucking trotters on them.
Yeah. Walking around like fucking Ronald McDonald.
Also, I know sizing can change over time, but the shoes were size 11, which I believe is a UK size 10, which is not particularly a larger size. It's about average for a man nowadays anyway. So it's not like they had a size fucking 15 foot, which you would associate with someone bigger, more broad.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Mm. And if
it's not a noticeably larger size.
But 9-10 is like average shoe size. So they could be tall, they could be short, fat, thin, broad, scrawny.
Yeah.
So what? They're just wasting time. Spewing absolute bollocks.
Oh, I'm glad you agreed with me because that really wound me up. But I mean, it's all kind of irrelevant for us to be saying this because you've already said it and I've said it. We believe there are 2 abductors.
Yeah.
You know, I just think that was a weird point to come to the conclusion, you know? Evelyn's father made an appeal for information. Quote, "Please, in some way, give us some information on her whereabouts. I know that the police department and other authorities are doing everything possible with the meagre information they have to find Evelyn or her abductor. At this point, it appears we need a break. Somebody knows something that will be helpful to us. Of course, the person who has the most information is the abductor. I am appealing to him to reveal the location of Evelyn or her body. I do not expect him to reveal his identity, but he can give us something to lead us to the girl." A reward of $6,600 was offered, which would be approximately $80,000 today. This money was the result of pledges made by individuals, businesses, and organisations.
That's one thing I will say for the Americans. When their communities work together on something, they come through.
What are you saying, we don't?
No. I know for a fact the average household over here in the UK, if you knocked on the door, people just go, fuck off.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter if it's wildlife, environment.
It's not the same thing, but I knew someone who was doing door-to-door sales, and the person, once he knocked on the door, the person opened their front door, headbutted him, and closed the door. That was it.
Too right.
No, but you are right. In this case, in Evelyn's disappearance, the community really, really came together.
Yeah.
But of course, when offering a reward, this can bring out some chancers, or shitehawks, if you will. The Hartleys were contacted by a man who offered them information about Evelyn in exchange for $500, which today would be around $6,000. The Hartleys played along and informed police, who hatched a plan to catch the extortionist. The setup worked, and police were able to detain a 20-year-old man named Jack Dufferin, along with a 13-year-old he had roped into his plan. He proved to have no information about Evelyn and was subsequently convicted and imprisoned for his crimes.
Good.
That's fucking diabolical.
Shite-hawk.
Well, for the Hartleys to have to deal with this bollocks on top of everything, come on. There was also a 14-year-old girl in Minneapolis who falsely claimed to have been Evelyn. Now, although it's horrific to make a false claim like this, the girl was said to have been found out in the rain in a, quote, semi-hysterical condition, and when she was approached, she told them that she needed help. So I wonder if this was a situation of she was in danger and, you know, she knew she'd be taken seriously and taken to the police if she said this.
Yeah. It's a bit like, do you hear about, is this woman now who's claiming she's Madeleine McCann?
Is this the younger woman a few years back, or a teenage girl?
Yeah, she's still going now.
Really?
I saw something not long back how she's, I think now the parents of Maddie have like put a restraining order on her or something. I can't remember.
Evelyn's disappearance plagued the police. Although they had a fair amount of evidence and some eyewitness accounts, nothing was producing any viable leads. Several months into the investigation, the La Crosse County Board poured funding into a new position, a county crime investigator. They hired a man named Josephson, a one-time army investigator and polygraph operator. But after a few years, and they were still no further in the investigation, the board made the decision to cut the position. Private investigators also tried their hand at the case, including one elderly man who had pretty much spent what money he had trying to solve the case.
Do you know what they could have done with?
Mm?
Some true crime podcasters.
Well, you know, some of them get a little bit overly involved in the cases, I think.
Oh, actually, fun fact. We met someone in London. He's got a podcast called Trail Went Cold. His podcast is covering unsolved cases. Someone who was on his Patreon, and this is a case that Robin had covered. There was someone on his Patreon listening to it, and it was him who did it. They caught the guy, and it was one of his listeners.
Horrifying.
That's mad. So in a way, Robin solved that one.
By May of 1954, over 2,000 people had been questioned by police. Mass polygraph tests were administered to the boys who attended high schools in the area. With questions like, quote, "Are you withholding any information regarding the Evelyn Hartley disappearance case?" Or, "Have you answered all the questions truthfully?" This was in an effort to determine what people knew about the disappearance rather than attempting to immediately produce a suspect. Now, they had initially planned to conduct 1,750 tests on students and staff, but it was stopped after around 300 tests as it proved to have been a controversial move in the investigation. With little gained from the evidence and no viable leads from statements taken, let's take a look at a few notable suspects, occurrences, and theories. Now, as far as it was known by her family, Evelyn had been on a few dates here and there, but she'd never had a boyfriend as such. So we can more or less rule out the boyfriend theory. Not that we can necessarily rely on parents for accuracy regarding their teenager's love life, but by all accounts, Evelyn seemed to be a more honest
Good girl.
girl. Yeah, possibly even verging on straight-laced tendencies, as well as considering that her schoolmates surely would have mentioned a boyfriend at some point in the investigation.
Yeah.
One rather curious encounter that the police had was with a 34-year-old man who was arrested after he'd been found at La Crosse River Bridge at 2 a.m. And this was the night following the disappearance. He drove off in a hurry as soon as he saw police approaching. He was questioned and later released. Although his behaviour was definitely a bit suspect, his licence plate was said to have been misidentified.
See, that's the other green Buick.
Yes, his car was a similar colour.
Right.
But,
okay.
you know, your man, when he saw the car, the initial eyewitness account, it was dark. So it's not like he was going to say
Right.
it was, you know. Another theory was the Robbinsdale Peeper. A nightly watch was already in place in the area after reports were coming in weekly about this man who was described as a, quote, demented sex pervert.
Not a maniac.
No, he didn't have the maniacal tendencies.
Yeah.
Even officers who were off duty were volunteering to keep watch. And on 2 separate occasions, officers witnessed a, quote, darting figure. In one case, the peeper appeared at the basement window and watched a woman as she was ironing clothes. He told her he was, quote, going to get you, and then started to laugh at the woman. Basement window.
Yeah.
And this lad was really scaring people. It was reported that they were arming themselves out of fear, including housewives keeping their husbands' shotguns and rifles nearby.
This is the strongest one so far.
This is the one I'm latched onto.
Yeah.
I think it's Peeper and pals we should be looking for.
Yeah.
Who's to say he doesn't have some other twisted, fucked up friend? You know what I mean?
Another man.
Or say he had a friend. I mean, I don't want to downplay the fucking friend, anyone who's going to be involved in this. But if he had coaxed someone who may not have done this on their own, but it's him behind it, or who's to say there wasn't a few different peepers?
Or
A gang of them.
Or all he was into was doing the peeping. He brought a friend along and the friend was like, no, I want to do this.
I personally believe that is the direction we should be looking. November of 1957 saw the arrest of Ed Gein. Of course, Ed Gein's crimes were some of the most grisly and grotesque crimes that not only the state of Wisconsin had ever seen, but the entire United States. As police tried to decipher where these bodies had come from and how many victims there were, Ed's name was brought up in the investigation of Evelyn's disappearance. Which, is completely understandable. You've just uncovered a house of horrors. You know the victims were women. You don't know how many. And Ed was said to have been in the area visiting family at the time of Evelyn's disappearance. But as we know, Ed was very open and honest with investigators about his crime. He told them who he had murdered, which graves he had robbed, what he had taken, and also what he had returned. So, when Ed denied any involvement in the disappearance of Evelyn, and with no remains or items belonging to Evelyn found on Ed's property, and with him passing multiple polygraph tests, he was cleared almost immediately. Not to mention that, the nature of Ed's crimes, he was in the business of displaying his grotesque creations, not concealing them.
And go for older women.
Yeah, so generally speaking, Ed would go for older women, a more of a resemblance of his mother, or thereabouts. But they did also find like a younger girl's dress, and within some of the body parts, they believed them to be from a teenage girl, or teenage girl, should I say.
Right.
So that doesn't really mean anything. They believed it to be.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's kind of grasping at straws, I believe. But yeah, that's about all she wrote in regards to Ed Gein and the disappearance of Evelyn Hartley, unlike the writers of that monster series.
Which, if you want to hear our review on that series, it's on our Patreon. We covered it on Patreon, but we've also put it on the shop as a one-time purchase. So that's patreon.com/mortalmusingspodcast.
Evelyn's disappearance produced not only one of the largest searches in Wisconsin history, but one of the most thorough. The clothing that was found was displayed and viewed by approximately 10,000 people in hopes someone would be able to identify them. Many were questioned, but nothing ever panned out. Over the years, dozens of people confessed to the crime.
Of course they did.
It's fucking I don't know why people fucking do that shit.
For clout.
Do you want this clout though? It's just so weird to me.
Well, if they're already inside for doing stuff like that, then they
want
care.
to be more notorious.
Yeah. It's just a way of adding another body to the body count. The bad one, not the good one.
In the 1970s, Evelyn's parents made the decision to move to Portland, Oregon. They later said on the matter that they had given up hope of ever learning the fate of Evelyn. Quote, "We're not interested in reading any article about the subject." Like we mentioned earlier, her mother Ethel had been confident that Evelyn was still alive. This was until she'd visited the scene and saw the bloodstains for herself. The Rasmussen family moved out of the house where Evelyn had been abducted not long after. Vigo said that it was still a nightmare to think about, and, quote, "I don't mean it preys on our minds constantly, but we don't forget it, no matter how long ago it was." Vigo appears to be on the same page as Evelyn's family in that he didn't believe that there would ever be a conclusion to the case. Quote, "I'd be very surprised now. If it was going to be solved, it would have been right away."
Well, not necessarily. Not now with DNA and genealogy and all that.
Yeah, of course there is a chance, but, generally speaking, the chance is just
Get the
diminished.
DNA of that peeper.
Leo Kim, who led the investigation, said that whoever committed this crime, quote, "pulled a Houdini on us, making both Evelyn and himself disappear completely." John Bosshard, who was the La Crosse County District Attorney in 1953, said, quote, "My theory is a transient was involved, and probably her body was disposed of in the wilderness around here somewhere. It probably will never be discovered." Years later, Rosalind, the eldest daughter of the Rasmussens, would speak of that night. Quote, "I was so scared. We were terrified. I was trying to make sense of it all. It was the first time I'd ever seen adults cry. My dad almost had a nervous breakdown. It almost drove him over the edge. It was a very hard and scary time. It haunted them for the rest of their lives. As long as I live, I will never forget coming home to that horrific scene. Blood everywhere, police everywhere, and the feeling of total fear and loss." not only was it a turning point for the town, but for us as well. In 2004, after seeing a plea in the Crosse Tribune newspaper, a man by the name of Mel Williams announced that he had a recording from 1969 in which two men can be heard discussing the disappearance of Evelyn. Quote, "Well, I even forgot I had the tape. I simply forgot about it until I saw the story in the paper."
What do you mean you forgot? Knob.
At the time, Mel was recording a band who was playing at the bar that night and picked up the conversation between these two men. One of the men in the recording was said to have been Clyde Peterson, who implicates himself in the murder. Another name is Jack Culfair, and a third unnamed man. In the recording, it said that they claimed to have taken Evelyn to Lafarge and buried her within the same area. In response to the tape, Vernon County Sheriff Gene Casey said, quote, "Well, there's going to be some follow-up, but it's a 50-year-old case. We're going to follow up on the information in our county. You always keep your fingers crossed. It would put some closure to it." Jack Culfair died by suicide on the 25th of December 1967. Clyde Peterson died of a heart attack in 1974, and the third unnamed man has also since passed away. Mel said of these men, quote, "I do know they were capable of it."
They don't know his name, but they know when he died.
They know, I think, but they're not releasing it.
Oh, okay.
I think.
I'm going to say, how's that fucking work?
So, Neil, do you think the tape holds any weight, or do you think it's kind of a bit...
No.
No.
I've heard it in too many cases now where someone has owned up, pissed up in a pub.
Mm-hmm.
So there could be, but I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, the most suspicion I have is Mel. Not that I'm saying he's involved in it, but it just seems a bit odd. He's like, "Oh, I forgot about it until I saw this article." How do you forget about something like that?
Yeah.
Unless when they were saying it, it was just a disgusting comment they made. Like you said, people pissed up in the pub.
Yeah.
Saying stupid shit.
Men.
Although some still remain suspicious that this kidnapping is connected to another high-profile case, the disappearance of Evelyn Hartley should not be cast aside. It should not be a second thought or used as a complication in another person's story. The disappearance of Evelyn Hartley is a devastating case of how a family lost their daughter, or how the lives of a family she'd been babysitting for were changed forever, and how an entire community devoted their time and money to bring this girl home, or at least find out the truth of what truly happened to her. And that is the disappearance of Evelyn Hartley. Neil, thoughts?
It's the fucking peeper.
It is, isn't it?
I was waiting for you to ask me.
I'm so fucking set on it being the peeper. You know, like before like looking into the case more in depth, I was kind of like, did we look at the family she was babysitting thoroughly enough?
That's what I was thinking right at the start.
Exactly. But they've been checked out, they've been cleared, and the fucking father is fucked up. Like, this really affected him. Apparently, after the fact, he was super protective over his daughters. Like, you know, she said she understood why, but, you know, it wasn't easy growing up with that. Yeah. But he was just so deeply affected by it. I don't know. There's so many different elements at play in this story. So many different people affected by it. Horrible case. The only kind of positive I can take from it, like you mentioned earlier, seeing an entire community group together to try and help.
This is what I mean. Like, yeah, it's obviously not a good thing, but this has happened. But it's when stuff like this happens, it doesn't matter what wealth class you're in, what skin colour you've got, everyone comes together. Anyone in that community comes together. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, kind of the elephant in the room with this case is the Ed Gein connection. You know, I understand some people may have that kind of niggle just because it's like, how could it not be Ed Gein? Like, you know, there's the horrifying reality of what he did and okay, when I say proximity, same state, they didn't live nearby. They were nowhere near each other. But a similar time he was doing this, and, you know, people are going to start wondering and putting 2 and 2 together and coming up with 5. But overall, it's wildly baseless. You know what I mean? I just hope that, you know, people will look further into it and come to their own conclusion. I'm not saying, well, no, actually, I personally am saying completely rule out Ed Gein. I think it's ridiculous. to connect it.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
It's the peeper.
It is. Right, honestly, we could talk about this for hours, going through all the different suspects, theories, little moments in the investigation.
No need. It's the peeper.
But my point is, I'm trying to kind of edit it down for the sake of clarity. Bring up, the guy at the 2 a.m. at the bridge guy.
Yeah.
That's a bit weird, but ultimately didn't lead anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I feel slightly uncomfortable going into these theories surrounding a specific person because they are just theories, but for them, it's their life, their reputation.
Yeah.
I want to be careful about that.
The reason why I'm saying the peeper is all the other suspects you mentioned, it was like ruled out and it felt like it was closed off. It didn't feel like it was closed off with the peeper.
I think it's entirely possible they've brought in the abductor or abductors.
Yeah.
I think it's highly possible. We don't know who the peeper is.
You got to remember, back then, they relied on lie detectors. They thought the lie detector was the be-all and end-all.
Well, I mean, also like the blood evidence. We know it's Evelyn's blood type. We don't know for a fact it's hers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we're trying to piece it together. But no, I'd be very kind of heavily leaning towards the peeper in this situation. And even if it's not, there's a high likelihood they've talked to the person who did it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there you go. So you were aware of this case, you knew it, but you didn't know in detail.
No.
Funny thing is, before we actually started the podcast, the disappearance of Evelyn Hartley was the case I chose. I literally just went to the Wikipedia page because we're testing audio.
Yeah,
and
we
I
just
read
bought the mics and everything.
Yeah, so I went to the disappearance of Evelyn Hartley, the Wikipedia page, and I read through that for audio testing.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.
So, Oddity.
Morgue Chocolates.
No thanks.
Neil, have you ever heard of the artist Stephen J. Shannabrook? Don't know if I'm pronouncing that right.
I can't say that I have.
So, Stephen is an American conceptual artist who uses chocolate as a medium for his artwork. To create these pieces, Stephen was given access to bodies both in the States and in Russia, where he was allowed to make impressions of some of the wounds in order to make silicone molds to create his Morgue chocolate collection.
Why?
What?
Why?
It's kind of just the mixture, isn't it? Between something really kind of dark and kind of grotesque, and then something like chocolate, which is nice, happy, indulgent.
That's just like
positive.
Our podcast.
Kind of, yes, actually, yeah. So now you're flip-flop. Now you love this idea.
No, I don't like this idea at all. It's ridiculous.
The molds...
Who's eating this?
They're not.
Okay.
It's art.
It's just going to melt. I don't think he's thought it through.
The molds include gunshot wounds, stitches, and eyeballs, among other things. The chocolates are not for sale, they're for display. But they have given out some chocolates during exhibitions, as well as him making moulds for a cafe for them to use themselves. Now, Stephen's father was a doctor and the town coroner, and Stephen had previously worked in a chocolate factory, so clearly this was the next logical step in his career. You can kind of see how this just happened, though, how it snowballed a bit.
Does he take requests?
I do not think he does. But sure, you could always float an idea by him, see what he's going to do with it.
Like, instead of having, like, a bag of Maltesers or something, like a bag of nips.
Bag of nips.
Yeah.
Isn't there a sweet called... Oh no, it's nibs, is it? Is it nibs?
Well, I don't think it's nips.
Get the ball rolling, Neil.
Yeah.
Stephen has said that he doesn't have a fascination with death as such. And at the time he was working with the bodies, he didn't really think about it. You know, he was in the middle of a project. It was only after that the morbid reality kind of sank in.
Dirty old bastard. You okay?
Yeah. Another collection of his was called, quote, I Eat People, They Eat Me. And this was a collection of chocolates made from the teeth he had collected from dentists while in Holland. So,
Lock him up.
go on, Neil. I'm sure you have some opinions.
Just lock him up. Who's going to this?
Do you not think it's interesting? You know, like I said, the
Seeing a
contrast.
chocolate fucking vulva on display?
I didn't say he did a vulva. It was more like wounds and shit.
Oh, gashes.
Well,
That's where I'm getting
well.
That's where I'm getting it crossed.
No, but you get the contrast thing
Mm.
of, like I said, the nice, decadent, indulgent chocolate element,
Mm.
and then compare that
And then
against a
ruining it.
gunshot wound or an eyeball,
Yeah,
which is
ruining
more
it.
kind of creepy and, you know, not good.
Yeah, no one wants to see it. They've ruined it.
Do you not get, like, the contrast, why it's interesting though, no?
No.
Just not about it.
No, not at all. It's, like I said, dirty old bastard. Why can't you do like a Santa mold or something like that? Why does it have to be a fucking eyeball? Really? Sick of it.